Since President Biden took office, he has granted clemency to more than 1,600 people, including 65 pardons. Many were handed down just 10 days ago when Biden issued nearly 1,500 commutations, the largest single-day act of clemency in modern history. And earlier this month, in a controversial move, he pardoned his own son, Hunter. The ability to grant clemency is one of the president's most absolute powers, and it's often made in the last few weeks in office. While Biden has commuted more federal sentences than his recent predecessors, he has been slow to issue pardons. Biden says, quote, more steps will be taken in the weeks ahead, but with just 29 days left in office, hundreds of petitions are awaiting his signature. Here in Washington, D.C., there is a group of men desperately hoping the president will sign theirs. The 6 men say they were wrongly convicted of the brutal rape and murder of Catherine Fuller, a mother of 6 in a northeast neighborhood of Washington, D.C. in 1984. 2 other men arrested with them have since died. The remaining 6 are free after spending decades in jail and now just want their names cleared. To this day, advocates for the men say no physical evidence has tied them to the scene. Many of the men, as young as 16 at the time, say they were coerced and threatened by detectives. These claims have been backed up by the Mid-Atlantic Innocence Project and expanded in a thorough review presented in the Alley podcast by New America. But in 2017, the Supreme Court rejected their request for a retrial. So now, a presidential pardon is their only hope. Joining us now, Charles Turner, one of the men who says he was wrongly convicted, and Sean Armbrust, executive director of the Mid-Atlantic Innocence Project, a nonprofit organization helping wrongfully convicted people. Thank you both very much for coming to the Sunday show. Mr. Turner, you were released in June of 2020, so it's now more than 4 years. What does freedom mean to you?
Well, aside from the fact that it would validate my innocence, it means that to me, the person with the most power in the free country believed in my plight, believed in that I was innocent. And that's it's hard to go against that. And it also would help to validate and help to give thanks to the many people who have helped me and my co-defendants through this long and arduous journey in trying to get our freedom. So it not just for me, but for the people that's helping me, it would go a long way into righting a grievous wrong.
And that's why you filed this petition for clemency.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard anything? I'm going to come to you in a moment, Ms. Armbrust. But have you heard anything from the Justice Department or the White House about your petition?
No, sir, I haven't heard anything.
So then, Ms., and I mispronounced your last name. It's Armbrust.
You got it.
Yes, Armbrust. So, Ms. Armbrust, tell me, you've been working on this case since 2005, right?
Yes, I have been involved in the case since 2005.
That's almost 20 years.
Yes.
What drew you to Mr. Turner and the other men's story? What drew you to this?
The Mid-Atlantic Innocence Project has been involved in the case since 2001, and they got involved after a Washington Post reporter wrote an article about the case, really exposing some of the flaws. And since then, we've learned about even more. We've, in fact, learned who committed the crime. And for me, this case is it's a huge injustice. These men were kids. They were branded as killers, at an age when most of us couldn't fathom something like that happening. And they have lived the past 40 years of their lives branded that way, branded as people who would brutally murder their friend's mom. And I don't want to stop until their names are cleared, whatever it takes.
What's the most compelling evidence that has come out, especially since the trial?
So the most compelling evidence is that we know who committed the crime. There was, on the day of the crime, a guy kind of walking up and down the street, casing the joint. The person who discovered the victim's body reported that to the police when police came, and also that man was running from the crime scene, stuffing something in his jacket as police arrived. Turns out, after the person identified who that man was, someone who had been committing really brutal robberies of other women in alleys, which is where this crime took place, in the area. And then when that person was released from prison in 1992, he wasn't out for 2 months before he had beaten to death and sodomized anally another young intern about a few blocks away from where this murder took place. So that's not exactly a common crime.
Right.
And he was at this scene. So that's pretty powerful evidence, especially when it's stacked up against all of the other evidence.
And can you explain why the Supreme Court denied a retrial, given everything you just told me?
So the trial in this case happened in 1985, and we were arguing that the government knew the identity of the person who committed this other crime.
And is that person still alive?
He is.
Okay, go on.
And the government refused to give that name to the defense. And what the Supreme Court said was, yes, he should have given that name to the defense. However, the government can't be held accountable for what happened in 1992 because the trial happened in 1985. So that 1992 crime just wasn't relevant to the court.
That is, I'm not a lawyer, but I am a citizen.
Good choice.
That sounds outrageous. Mr. Turner, how old were you?
I was 20 years old at the time of the murder.
I'm told from time to time, President Biden has tuned in to the show. If you had an opportunity to speak with the president, if he happens to be watching, what would you like to say to him?
I would ask that he just read the evidence and read with an open mind, because all too often people have, we get narrow, our visions get narrowed, and we can only look at it from one point of view or from one perspective. I would ask that he would just look with an open mind and an open heart. And after reading that, he has to feel that something was wrong. After reading all the evidence, everything that was said by my lawyer, by Sean, if he reads all of that and nothing is wrong, if he don't think anything was wrong, then I'll acquiesce. But I just can't see it being any other way. So I would ask him to read all the evidence and read it with an open mind and make his judgment.
As we said at the outset, you've served your time. How many years?
36.
36 years.
Yes, sir.
For a crime you say and the evidence says you didn't commit. How is it that, and this is our first time meeting and I'm sitting across from you, I do not get any sense of anger, of, I don't know, for having 3 decades, almost 4 decades of your life taken from you. How is that possible, Mr. Turner?
It goes to my upbringing. I was never an angry child, and then I just don't see any good coming of me being angry. There's still a lot of life to live. I've made it back to this side of the wall, as they say, and so I have a lot to be thankful for, even with all of the bad that has happened to me. I have a lot to be thankful for, and I just want to be able to live my life to the fullest as best I can, and I can't do it if I'm angry at the world.
Charles Turner, Sean Armbrust, thank you both very much for coming to the Sunday show. Mr. Turner, I am fingers crossed for you, praying for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.